It's frustrating. You can understand English. You can understand me. You can understand when others are speaking. But when you go to speak, it seems like the words just won't come out. You can't get your thoughts out properly, and it frustrates you. Well, my friend, in this lesson, I'm going to tell you the 5 reasons why this happens and how to finally get over it. I'm going to give you the solutions you need today. Are you ready? Well then, let's jump right in. Here is reason number 1, why you can understand English but can't speak it. Reason number 1, your internal editor never stops critiquing. That inner voice speaking to you as you are trying to speak. You see, you have a voice in your head that checks every sentence before you say it. The grammar, the tense, the word choice. And in English, that voice runs constantly and runs slowly. So while it's still reviewing, the conversation moves on. The editor was trying to protect you, but instead it silenced you. That voice in your head inhibited you from moving forward with the conversation. What does this look like? I want you to think about this situation. You're in a meeting with something valuable to say because you, my friend, are extremely intelligent and you have something to say. But before the words come out, a voice in your head stops you to check the grammar. By the time it's done checking, someone else has already said your idea. Think about it. You know what you'd like to say, but the words just won't come out of your mouth. Or what about this situation? You also know what you want to say. Someone asks your opinion, and you open your mouth and then close it. The editor stepped in before the first word even came out. By the time it cleared the sentence, yes, that's a good sentence. Yes, good word choice. The other person had already moved on to asking someone else. Your internal editor never stops critiquing you. What about this situation? You're telling a story, an interesting story, and mid-sentence, you second guess your grammar. The 2-second pause feels like 10. The energy in the room shifts. People are looking at you. You feel that the beads of sweat are dripping down your face, and you rush to finish. The story was good, but the editor killed it. We're talking about why you can understand English, but so many times you can't speak it. That internal editor never stops critiquing. Okay, teacher Tiffani, I understand reason number 1. How can you fix it for me? Let me give you some solutions. Here's solution number 1. Give the editor a curfew. I love this analogy. Okay, give the editor, that little person living in your head, that voice in your head, give it a curfew. You see, before you speak, give yourself one rule. The sentence goes out as is after 3 seconds. So let's look at it together. All right. So we're looking at giving that internal voice, that internal editor, a curfew. So again, I want you to think about yourself. And inside your head, there is this voice that continues to speak. This voice of the editor who has so much to say, constantly speaking, telling you what to say, what not to say. Is it correct? Is it not correct? You're going to give the editor a curfew. The editor only has 3 seconds. Again, we're giving the editor a curfew. 3 seconds. It has to go out after 3 seconds, whatever your sentence is. No revising, no restarting, no swallowing it. So your editor in your mind starts to edit your sentence. But after that 3-second period, no matter what it is, the sentence must come out and you must start speaking. After 3 seconds, the editor must stop. This is solution number 1. The goal, you see, my friend, is not a perfect sentence. The goal is a sent one. Get it out of your mouth. Do this, though, in low stakes moments first. For example, when you're ordering food, when you're responding to a colleague at work, or when you're leaving a voice message, you're calling a friend and you're leaving a voice message. You want to train your brain that imperfect and out loud is better than perfect and silent. So again, our first solution is your internal editor has a 3-second timer. After 3 seconds, you have to speak. Here's solution number 2. Solution number 2 is I want you to finish every sentence you start. Every sentence that you start, I want you to finish it. Now, you see, the editor gets loudest when you stop mid-sentence to reconsider. Again, the editor gets louder when you stop mid-sentence. So let's say you are in a conversation. You may even be speaking with a colleague, and you're having a great conversation back and forth with your colleague. Now, you're saying something, but mid-sentence you stop. Why do you stop? Because the internal editor starts to check what you are doing. What you need to do now, though, is make a commitment. Whatever sentence you begin, you must finish it, even if it comes out wrong. So your editor wants to start editing. Oh, this part right here may not be correct. No, it doesn't matter. Cancel your editor and just keep speaking. It may be incorrect. The grammar may not be perfect, but your goal is to just keep speaking. You see, a completed mistake teaches your brain far more than an abandoned sentence does. The learners who improve fastest are not the ones who speak perfectly. They're the ones who always finish. Listen, a finished sentence is better than an unfinished sentence. So you tell your editor to be silent and you simply get the sentence out, even if it's not a correct sentence according to grammar. Solution number 2, finish every sentence that you start. Solution number 3, I want you to separate speaking time from editing time. Listen closely. Separate speaking time from editing time. So you're going to pick one conversation per day where grammar is completely off the table. This conversation, you're not thinking about grammar. You're just focusing on getting the words out. Your only job is to communicate the idea however it comes out. So for this one, again, you're going to focus on one conversation. This conversation that you're having today, your goal is simply to get your thoughts and ideas out. You are not focusing on the grammar at all. So in your mind, you have an idea. Your ideas, your thoughts. So your ideas and your thoughts. Your goal is to simply get the information out. So your ideas and thoughts need to simply come out. All right. Now you're not trying to edit them. You're just making sure your words come out and not thinking about the grammar at all. So then separately, after the conversation, notice what felt wrong and look it up. This is what you're going to do. Look it up after you've had the conversation. All right. Splitting these two activities stops the editor from showing up during the one moment it causes the most damage. So you've gotten all of your thoughts and your ideas out. Then you go back and you say, as I think about certain parts of the conversation, I think I could have said this in a better way, or I think I could have gotten this out in a better way. and you highlight those things and you look them up, and then you make the corrections after the conversation, not while the conversation is happening. So again, separate speaking time from editing time. This is the third solution. Again, to stop your internal editor from critiquing you. Reason number one. Now we get into reason number two. Reason number two is your first language always jumps the line. Your brain, you see, learned English by connecting every word back to your native language. So when you try to speak, your native language activates first. This is normal, even for me as your English teacher. Yes, I speak another language. I speak Korean, but my first language is English. So your brain automatically defaults to your first language every time. Your brain then has to suppress it before English can come out. So you have to break this up. You don't want your first language to come in because you want to speak English. Now, under pressure, when you're nervous, you're tired, and the conversation may be moving fast, that suppression actually breaks down. You see, your native language wins and your English disappears. When you're stressed, when you're nervous, you just default to your native language. Your first language always jumps the line. Let me show you what this actually looks like. For example, someone asks you a question and your brain instantly answers it, but in your native language. Now you have to translate, restructure, and deliver it in English while the other person waits. Listen, again, your brain has to translate, then restructure, and deliver it in English. By the time you get there, though, they've already lost half of what they wanted to say. You've already lost what you wanted to say. The person has forgotten what they want to say, or they're not interested in the conversation anymore. This is a problem. What about this situation? You've been here before. After a long day, someone starts a conversation with you in English. On a normal day, you manage okay. But tonight, man, your brain is just too tired to keep suppressing your native language, which keeps trying to jump the line like, hey, I know how to say something. You start mixing words, losing sentences halfway through and apologizing like, oh, I'm sorry, I said that in my language instead of English. Not because your English got worse. Listen to me. Not because your English got worse, but because the energy needed to hold your first language back simply ran out. You're tired. You're exhausted. Your first language jumps the line. Hey, you're exhausted? I'll step up. This is one of the reasons you can understand, but it seems like you can't speak English. And here's another example. You're in a fast group conversation. People are talking very quickly and everyone seems to follow effortlessly. By the time your brain, however, processes the English, suppresses your native language response. Your brain processes and then starts suppressing, and it builds a reply. The conversation has already moved 2 topics ahead. You're trying to suppress your native language and bring the English up, but the conversation has moved on. You stay quiet and look like you have nothing to contribute, but you have plenty to say. It's just that your native language jumped the line and suppressed your English. We get it. How can we solve this problem? Here is solution number 1. Solution number 1 is to start thinking in English before the conversation even starts. So 10 minutes before any English interaction, a call, a meeting, a social event, switch your internal monologue to English. I want you to think about this. Imagine you know your schedule for the day. I want you to think about your schedule for the day. Let's say you know that today at about, let's say 10 a.m., you are going to have a meeting with international clients. You are going to have to speak in English during this meeting with these clients, and maybe even your boss will be there. You are going to have to speak in English. Well, your native language has been in your head all throughout the day. 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Now what you're doing though is instead of at 8 a.m., your brain is thinking in your native language. But at 9 a.m., instead of your native language, you're going to switch to start thinking in English. Why? In preparation for the upcoming conversation. Again, think about what you have to do today. Switch your brain. Start thinking in English before you even have to speak. Again, think about 10 minutes before it even starts. So at 9:50 a.m., before the meeting, you're now thinking in English. Now, I want you to think about it like this. It's not complex thinking. You can narrate small things in your head, like what you're doing, what you're about to say, what you notice around you. You see, this gives your brain a head start on suppressing your native language before the pressure of a real conversation kicks in. Again, start thinking in English before the conversation actually starts. Here's the second solution. Build English-only triggers in your daily routine. English-only triggers. So choose one existing daily habit, maybe your morning coffee, your commute, your workout, and make it an English-only zone. So let's say, for example, maybe you do like to eat with your boss or eat with your friend or eat with your spouse, whoever it may be. And in the morning, when you get together, let's say actually your meeting, you're going to have a muffin. All right, you're meeting for your morning muffin, maybe, let's say even with your child who possibly already speaks English. And as you are going to eat your muffin, you're speaking with your friend or your colleague. But as you speak with your friend and colleague during this time, you want to make sure you are only speaking in English. This is your English time. So in the morning, when I'm eating my muffin with my coworker or with my child or with my spouse, we're only going to speak in English. You see, during that time, your thoughts, your self-talk, and anything you say out loud happen only in English. Over time, your brain stops treating English as a second layer it has to dig through and starts reaching for it directly in familiar context. Why? Because now your brain is going to connect, your morning muffin is connected to English, and it will trigger that part of your brain instead of your native language. Here's solution number 3. Again, overcoming your first language, always jumping the line. You're going to respond before you translate. Again, respond before you translate. You see, when someone speaks to you in English, practice responding with the first English words that come, even if it's just, "That's a good point," or "Let me think about that for a second." This small move keeps your brain in English mode instead of flipping to your native language to construct a response. So again, the very first thing that comes to mind when someone speaks to you. Now again, you may need extra time to continue thinking about your full response, but I want you to imagine this is your brain. You have a very large brain, right? And before you have time to fully process everything, you simply want to get something out. And as you're getting it out, then what you've been thinking about will come out. Just simply start with something in English. The partial response buys you time without triggering the full translation process. Again, stopping your first language from always jumping first in the line. Makes sense, right? Excellent. Now we're going to move to reason number 3. But before we get to reason number 3, I want to let you know that this lesson is actually being brought to you by my app, a free app that you can download. The app is called the English with Tiffani app. And we have hundreds of thousands of users already. And maybe you're a user, but if not, I wanted to show you a little bit about the app. Again, the English with Tiffani app, you can download it for free. The link is right in the description. I love teaching you English. So in this app, my team and I developed a way for you to practice every single day. You always have your phone with you. You can practice and learn even more, continuing with the lessons I'm teaching you here on YouTube, and if you're listening via the podcast. And we added something very special this month. This month, I want to specifically tell you about the mini courses that we'll be adding each month for immigrants living in America. I have so many students that live in America or that are trying to come to America, and they run into issues. For example, how to order food at a fast casual restaurant, step by step. This course actually takes you step by step on how you can actually order food when you go to a fast casual restaurant, or how to ask for a copy of your medical records. There are so many different things that you have to do as an immigrant living in America that you may not have learned from a book. So the English with Tiffani app will help you. And each month I'm adding brand new courses to help immigrants living in America. So if you are an immigrant living in America and you want to improve your English, don't forget to download the app. And even if you're not an immigrant, there are many other lessons in the app, English with Tiffani, that will help you on your journey. So hit the link in the description. You can explore the app. There are many practice lessons, many games. This is an app used by hundreds of thousands of English learners around the world, and you will love it. All right, so download it by clicking the link in the description. Now, let's get to reason number 3. Reason number 3 is your brain hasn't made this automatic yet. You see, speaking your native language requires almost no conscious effort. The words just come. In English, nothing is automatic yet. So every single word, every grammar choice, every pronunciation decision is competing for the same limited attention you have. And in a real conversation, there simply isn't enough to go around. What does this actually look like? For example, think about this situation right here. You can write a great email because you have unlimited time. But in a real conversation, you're simultaneously choosing words, checking grammar, tracking what was said, and preparing your next response all at once. Something has to collapse, and usually it's the sentence you're trying to get out. Or what about this situation? You're trying to speak English. Someone asks you a simple question on a video call, something you absolutely know the answer to, but because you're also managing your camera, watching for reactions, and monitoring your grammar in real time, a simple answer gets completely tangled. Afterward, you think, I know this. Why did that come out so wrong? There's too much going on in your brain. And what about this example? A friend pulls you into a relaxed conversation with their friends at a social event. Everyone else is at ease, but you're working hard just to keep up, choosing words, forming sentences, tracking the conversation, all consciously at the same time. Now, let me tell you this. I understand how you feel. When I was learning Korean, this happened all the time. So I understand what you feel. You see, your friend in this situation later says, you seemed quiet. You weren't quiet. You were full. Your brain was just too full. So how do you solve this issue? We have 3 solutions. Solution number 1. Drill your most common sentences until they require 0 thought. I want you to write down the 10 sentences you use most often in English, the greetings, the responses, the opinions, the transitions. And you're going to say each one out loud 20 times a day for 2 weeks. So again, let's write this out. So again, you're going to think about the the sentences you use the most often. So this is you. And there are certain sentences that you like saying over and over and over. So you are going to list out these sentences. Again, you're going to find the 10 sentences you say most often. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're going to write out these sentences. For example, I remember when I was learning Korean, I used to say, 진짜? Now that's a word, it just means, oh, really? But I said it all the time. So you may have common phrases that you like or sentences that you say on a regular basis. Write these 10 sentences down. And you're going to do what? Say them out loud. How many times? 20 times a day for 2 weeks. Here are the important numbers. Say them out loud 20 times per day. For how long? For 2 weeks. You're going to say them so often that you'll probably get tired of saying them, but 20 times a day for 2 weeks. Now, what does that equate to? So 2 weeks equals 14 days. So you're saying them 20 times 14. What is 20 times 14? 20 times 14 is going to be, let's see, 240 times. 200 and, oh, not 40, let's do 280. So right now, I am also having to do the math very quickly as we're having this class. 280 times. 280 times. After you say anything 280 times, what's going to happen? You're going to know it like the back of your hand. So 280 times. Then, not to memorize them as scripts, but to make them automatic. When those sentences no longer require any conscious effort, they free up mental space for the harder, more spontaneous parts of the conversation. So again, drill your most common sentences until they require zero thought. Solution number 2. Use conversation as practice, not performance. As practice, not performance. You see, most learners treat every English conversation as a test they could fail. Instead, pick one conversation per day and treat it purely as a practice run. No stress. The way a musician runs scales, not as a recital. So, as you are interacting with people throughout the day, let's say, for example, you are interacting with your coworkers and you all usually speak when you're in the staff room. And maybe after your meeting, you all are talking and you're just having a good conversation. Treat that as a practice conversation and not a stressful conversation, just a practice run. Removing the performance pressure reduces the cognitive load immediately, which means more of your brain's workspace becomes available for actually speaking. And solution number 3, speaking slower is not a sign of weakness. It is a strategy. When you slow down, each word requires less simultaneous processing, which means your brain has more room to find the right words and form complete thoughts. Practice speaking at 70% of your normal speed in your next English conversation, and notice how much clearer and more complete your sentences become. So again, you want to practice speaking slower. Still get out your thoughts, but realize, oh, I can take my time and not speak so quickly, and the person listening to me will still enjoy the conversation. Take your time. Pause when you need to. All right. So again, slow down on purpose. Your brain now will have an opportunity to get the information out. This leads us now to reason number 4. Reason number 4 is you're building every sentence from scratch. You see, native speakers don't build sentences word by word. They speak in pre-assembled chunks, phrases their brain stores and retrieve as a single unit, like one long word. Learners build every sentence, though, from individual pieces, which is dramatically slower and harder. It's the difference between pulling a pre-made meal from the fridge and cooking every component from raw ingredients every single time. I'm not thinking about each individual word as I'm speaking to you. I have phrases that have been grouped together in my brain and they come out as a group. This is what we need you to do. Let's think about a few examples of this. A native speaker says, as far as I'm concerned, without any effort. I literally just said that without any effort. It's a single stored unit in my brain. You know all 6 of those words individually. As far as I'm concerned, or as far as I am concerned, I'm being the contraction. But you've never stored them as a chunk. So you have to assemble them in real time. That construction time, my friend, shows up as hesitation. As far as I am concerned, it shows up as hesitation instead of being this well thought out idea or a phrase you're using. And the hesitation makes you sound less fluent than you actually are. What about this situation? It happens. You're in a conversation and you want to transition to a brand new point. A native speaker reaches instantly for that being said, or having said that, as a single move. Now, you know both words separately. Both of these phrases, you know the individual words separately, but the phrase isn't stored as a unit. So you pause. You construct it piece by piece. And by the time it comes out, the natural moment to use it has already passed. This is where your frustration starts to rise. And what about this situation? Someone shares bad news, and every native speaker in the room immediately responds with, "Oh no, that's awful," or "I'm so sorry to hear that." You understand the situation completely. You know all those words, but nothing comes out quickly enough. The pause that follows doesn't mean you don't care. It means your brain is still assembling the response that everyone else retrieved in less than a second. Okay, Tiffani, I understand. Yes, this is my issue. How can I solve it? Here are 3 solutions. Solution number 1, learn phrases, not just words. Every time you learn a new word, learn the 2 or 3 phrases it naturally lives in. Don't just learn concerned, learn as far as I'm concerned and I'm a little concerned about. So again, let's look at this very quickly. So when you are learning something, let's say you did go to learn the word concern. Now, normally, up until this point, actually, you simply learn a single word. Concerned. This is how you learned in the past, what the word means, and maybe a sentence. But what we're saying now is for you to, instead of just learning the word, you are now going to also learn the connected phrases. And our first phrase again, as far as I'm concerned. So write that phrase. As far as I'm concerned. So now in your brain, whenever this word pops up, so does this phrase. And our second phrase, I'm a little concerned about. Add the phrase, I'm a little concerned about. So now instead of just one word, we now have two expressions or two phrases connected to this word in our brains. Say the whole phrase out loud as one unit several times. Your brain stores what it practices, and it needs to practice the chunk, not the individual words, to retrieve it as one. So you go in and you start practicing. Say it 5 times, both of them 5 times. So as far as I'm concerned, 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 say it over and over again, and your brain will store it as a chunk. Solution number 2. Build a personal phrase bank of 20 everyday chunks. This is an amazing one. Write down 20 phrases you wish you could say instantly. They could be transitions, reactions, opinions, fillers. For example, to be honest with you, or the thing is, or that makes sense. Write down these 20 phrases. So, having your notebook, or maybe it's on your phone, but I'm going to say you have a notebook. And in your notebook, you are going to write down these 20 phrases, all right? You are going to write down these 20 phrases. Let's do this. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And you are going to write each of these phrases down. Now, the example phrase, the first one, to be honest with you, and then the thing is. So let's zoom in. We have to be honest, ... Then the thing is. I'm just shortening them, right? Again, you write these down. Write down all 20 phrases that you would like to start using in your everyday conversations. Say each one out loud every morning for 2 weeks until they stop feeling like sentences and start feeling like single words. Every morning for 2 weeks. So again, you were going to say these out loud every morning for 2 weeks. Every morning, say them out loud for 2 weeks. Say them out loud. 20 automatic chunks will do more for your fluency than 200 individually memorized words. This is powerful. So again, build a personal phrase bank of 20 everyday chunks. And what about solution number 3? Shadow native speakers specifically for chunks, not participation. Choose a short video of a native speaker talking naturally, 2 to 3 minutes. So we're going to start off by getting a 2 to 3 minute video. You can decide which video, but let's say you are watching TV or maybe you're watching YouTube, right? And you're going to pick a video, right? You can decide who the video is of, what the focus is, what the topic is, but this individual is speaking and the video is 2 to 3 minutes long. So you select a 2 to 3 minute video. Play it once and just listen. So step 1 is to just listen to the video. Just listen to the person as they're speaking. Then play it again and write down every phrase that comes out as a smooth, fast unit. So step 2, write phrases. Write down all of the phrases you hear that come out as a smooth unit. Then say those phrases out loud, matching the speaker's rhythm and speed exactly. So again, now you're going to say them out loud. Say them out loud. All right, so listen, then write, and then say them out loud. Now remember, you're not practicing pronunciation. You're training your brain to feel what a pre-assembled chunk sounds and feels like, so it can start storing and retrieving them the same way. So again, shadow native speakers specifically for chunks, not pronunciation. Listen to the video, write the phrases, and then say them out loud. This leads us to reason number 5, why you can understand English but have a hard time speaking it. You know the word, but your mouth doesn't. You see, your brain retrieves words based on how often you've actually spoken them, not how well you know them. A word you've studied and recognized 50 times still has a weak retrieval pathway if you've never used it out loud. So in conversation, your brain skips it and reaches for the familiar word instead, the one it knows how to find fast. Knowing a word and being able to speak it under pressure are not the same thing. Think about these situations. Situation number 1. You've learned the word remarkable multiple times and would recognize it instantly in writing. But in conversation, your brain reaches for really good every single time. Really good has been spoken hundreds of times. It's come out of your mouth hundreds of times, but remarkable has only ever been read. Your eyes know it, your mouth doesn't. Or what about this situation? You're describing how you felt about something, and you know there's a better word than sad. You've seen it, maybe even written it once, but standing in the conversation under time pressure, your brain can't find it fast enough, so sad comes out instead, and you walk away feeling like you undersold the entire experience because you wanted to use a different word. What about this situation? You finish a vocabulary lesson feeling good about 10 new words. 3 days later, in a conversation where 2 of them would have been perfect, neither one appears. Back home, reviewing your notes, you see them and think, I knew that. Why didn't I say it? Because recognizing a word on a page and retrieving it mid-conversation are not the same action, and only one of them was ever practiced. All right, teacher, how can I fix this? I'm so glad you asked. Here is solution number 1. Solution number 1 is speak every new word out loud the moment you learn it. Don't wait. The instant you encounter a new word in a lesson, a video, an article, stop and say it out loud in a sentence immediately. So let's say, for example, you are watching a YouTube video. You're watching the video and the video is really good. The individuals in the video are having a great conversation and you understand what they are saying. And then all of a sudden, in the midst of the conversation, a new word is used. A word you've never heard before. In that instant, what you need to do is grab that word and make it yours. How do you make it yours? You immediately say it out loud. Say it out loud and use either the same sentence they used or look for one online or in your dictionary. Say it out loud immediately. You see, it's not a written sentence. It's a spoken one that will make the difference. Do it 3 times. This single habit begins building the retrieval pathway your mouth needs. A word your mouth has never produced is a word your mouth will never find under pressure. But if every time you hear a new word, you say it out loud 3 times, The next time you need that word, you'll be able to retrieve that word. Solution number 2, replace one safe word per day. Pick one word you overuse: good, nice, happy, bad. And for that entire day, refuse to say it. Every time it comes up, you have to find a different word, even if it comes out slowly or imperfectly. Oh, this food is good. No. This food is amazing. No. This food is scrumptious. No. Every time, pick a different word. This forces your brain to reach past the familiar pathway and start building new ones. One replaced word per day is 365 new retrieval pathways per year. Let your brain start retrieving and accessing different words instead of the same word it has been over time. Solution number 3. Use new words in conversations before you feel ready. Most learners wait until they're sure about a word before using it in conversation. That moment never comes. Instead, use new words deliberately in the new conversation after you learn them, even if you're not 100% certain. An incorrect use that gets gently corrected teaches your brain far more than a correct recognition that stays silent. The retrieval pathway is only built through retrieval. And retrieval only happens when you actually try to speak the word. So now, instead of just knowing the word, your mouth also will know the word and start using it. So now, instead of just understanding English, you will be able to use it. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll talk to you in the next one.